start preaching before I start teaching. Now, mainly wanted to show you that, what it says out of there, because Jesus preached with an authority, and that authority came from knowing. He knew. He wasn't guessing. Now, there was something else I was wanting to... Oh, yeah. Okay. This is one of the manuals that we use to teach the classes out of. I'm going to give you a part of it. I don't have a lot with... Well, I don't have any with me. But we were going to try to get some made while we were here, but we didn't get to. You can get them off of our website. This is not the manual that I referred to by Dr. Lake. These are the gleanings that I had to get before I actually got the manual in my possession. I got a chance to read it and glean some things out, and these are the notes that I made off of that. So now the manual that Dr. Lake wrote will be available in June. You can come to the conference and get it, or you can get it over the internet anyway if you are interested in it. I would like to say, again, I hesitate to mention these things, but just some people have asked us, so in case I didn't get a chance to get back with you, we do have a partner-type program if you want to help in that. There's not a set fee or anything like that, not a set thing. If you want to help, you just send in whatever you want to every month, and we send you some tapes and things. So it's I try to make sure you get more back than the money you give in, okay? That's my covenant with God, is I want to make sure that you are blessed. If I bless you, God will bless me. I'm not looking for you to bless me. I'm looking to bless you and God to bless me. And so anyway, that's why we do it. So if you're interested, you can get a card at the back, write to us or email us or whatever you want to do. Give us a call. We'll be glad to help you any way we can. Now, in Matthew, let's see, chapter 8. Make sure I'm starting. Yeah, let's start there. We're going to talk about this real quick. Okay, hold your finger there, and I'll take you to another verse at the same time. Go to Hebrews chapter 1. In Matthew chapter 8, while you're looking for Hebrews chapter 1, I'm going to start reading. In verse 2, in the King James, it says, "And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Jesus put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed." Now, that was not him saying, if you will, if you'll do it, you can make me clean, if you'll do it. And Jesus was saying, okay, I will. Okay, be clean. That's not what he was saying. The leper was saying, by the word used there, I think it's the Greek word thelo, he was saying, if you will to do it, if it is your will, you can do this. I know you can do it. See, he was in the same place most Christians are. We have no problem knowing that God can heal. Our problem most of the time is understanding whether or not it's his will to heal. By the time you leave today, I hope to have completely convinced you that it is God's will to heal you all the time, and God has willed once and for all. You don't have to go to him and find out what his will is. He's already willed. It's done, okay? There's a spider hanging down right over your head. See it kind of right up? There you go. I just didn't want him to kind of come on down and visit. Okay? Now, you know, because if I'd let him and it had got on him and he'd jumped up and run around, everybody thought the Holy Ghost was on him, and I'd ran up to him and slapped him on the head, killed the spider, and everybody thought it was an anointing. Okay? Now, now that was the King James Version. Let's look at, in the New American Standard, it says, "And behold, a leper came to him, bowed down to him, saying, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. And he stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, I am willing. Be cleansed. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed." In the NIV, it says, "A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Jesus reached out his hand, touched the man. I am willing, he said, be clean. Immediately he was cured of his leprosy." You say, well, you just read the same thing 3 times. I'm going to read it a couple more times too. The reason being is I want to show you that almost every translation has it saying the same thing. Not if you'll do it, but if you are willing to do it. And I'm trying to prove to you the willing. Now, whatever you do is really what you will to do. Really, nobody makes you do something totally against your will. Okay? Even when you sin, you are willing to do it because you decide to do it. Because Right now, if I told you, okay, I want you to stand up without willing to, you couldn't do it. You can't do it. You have to will it first. Now, people get really nervous when I start talking about the will and willing something because they think, well, we're talking mind power. No, it's not what I'm talking about. You can have all the mind power you want. If that was true, anybody could heal the sick. Anybody out there in the world, because they have a will too, and they can't do it. So it's spiritual, not mind power. I've had people come to me and say different things, and people say, well, I use my mind to heal the sick. And I say, are you Christian? Well, I'm born in a Christian nation, so that makes me Christian. No, I don't. It makes you deceived. That's what it makes you. And they say, well, I don't really go to church, and I don't really follow Christian principles and things. Do you believe Jesus is Lord? Oh, no, I believe there's lots of ways to do. Okay, then anyway, if you are getting the sick healed, you're doing it by a devil. You're not doing it by the Spirit of God. And generally, I've done a lot of study on psychic healing from the Philippines and different things like that because I wanted to know the truth about the healing. Are the people getting healed or not? What I have found is invariably, without exception, the thing disappears for a while, and it appears as though they are healed, but very shortly thereafter, it appears somewhere else in their body, and they die from something. Every time. They go over and spend a bunch of money to get some psychic healer supposedly stick his hand through their belly and pull out some gob of something that he says is whatever they're supposed to have. And then the symptoms disappear for a short time, but then it comes back on them real quick and kills them in a matter of days. And it's because they go after devils and idols, and they do these things instead of seeking the Lord. Now, I'm not against doctors. I'm not against medicine. God bless them. They need all the help they can get because they're not doing a good enough job. They charge like they are, but they're not. And Dr. Lake and the early Pentecostals were totally against doctors and medicine. But you have to remember, too, the level of medicine back then was pretty bad. And Dr. Lake, especially back then, if you took medicine, you were just, forget it. Don't even call yourself a Christian. Don't say anything about trusting God. Okay, that's just the way they believed. Now, one thing I have found is that here in America, especially when I went to Africa, the one thing they told me, because I was watching these people get healed, and a lot of people are well in the churches and things, and I said, what's the deal over here? You lay hands on somebody, bam, they're healed. And they said, brother, over here we believe God or we die. We don't have hospitals that can do us any good. We don't have doctors everywhere. We don't have health insurance. We have God or we die. God is not our last resort. He's our only resort. In America, and I'm not saying this in a negative way per se, but just as a note of what I've seen, we run around and try everything else under the sun first. And then finally, when everything else fails, we come to God. And God is our last resort. Sometimes He's not our last resort. Sometimes we try God, but we have this over here in case God don't work. And then we can run to this. And I'm telling you, for the most part, if you're doing that, you might as well just go ahead and go to that. Go ahead and exhaust all your resources. And after you've wasted a whole bunch of money, give it to people that can't help you, just like the woman in the Bible. Then you come to God. Whenever you could have taken that money, got healed, given that money to missions, and done some good with it, instead of putting it in some doctor's pocket, okay, and buying them a new Mercedes, okay? That's what you're doing with it, with God's money. Now, this may sound kind of harsh or strict, but I'm telling you, if you commit your soul to God, go the next step. Go to Romans 12. Don't go there. I mean, in the Spirit, go to Romans 12 and dedicate your body as a living sacrifice to God. Take Him as your healer. Dedicate yourself to Him as your healer, and let Him be your God. For the most part, we have, if you go through the redemptive names of God in the Old Testament, He covers every aspect of man's existence. We've got Jehovah Jireh, our provider. We've got Jehovah Rapha, our healer. We've got, Jehovah Shammah. Well, which one? I can't remember now. I probably shouldn't bring it up if I can't remember it. Shalom, our peace. Yeah. God has said, I want to be this God to you. The redemptive names tell man what He wants to be to us. And yet, for Jehovah Rapha, we've got Dr. So-and-so down here at the hospital. For